So good morning. In today's lecture, we will see the call and return instructions. Okay. This lecture will not complete in, this topic will not complete in today's single lecture. It will take 2 lectures, today and tomorrow. Okay. So this call and return instructions, these instructions are used in case when we need subroutines, right? Now subroutine, what exactly does it mean? Subroutine is a section of a code which we can repeatedly execute. Okay, it is a section of a code which we can repeatedly execute, but that execution can also be at different places. Because when I say repeatedly executing some certain tasks, for that we already know looping is available. The concept of looping is the same, right? That is what we have seen, that in the looping we have some block and we keep on executing it repeated number of times, but it will execute at this location itself. What if I want the same task to be repeated at this location, then at this location, then at this location, and then at this location? What to do that in that case? In that case, what we have is called subroutines. This is exactly similar to what we know as functions in C programming language. You know C programming and you have written certain C functions, right? For example, even we have written one my ms delay function in the during our practicals. That my ms delay function generates a delay of 1 millisecond, and we can tell how many milliseconds delay we want to that function. So that many millisecond delay is placed at the location what we want, right? So that is how the function works. In a very similar way, these subroutines work. Okay. So for that, we need 2 instructions, basically call and return. Okay. So let's see the first instruction, call. Okay. So this is the basic, what I would say, basic information about the call instruction up to here. Okay. This obviously I have taken from where? This I have taken from the PKTNF 45 datasheet. Okay. Now you can see here the call, the syntax for call is call K. Technically it is K. Okay. And K again, you can, if you recall, yesterday also we have seen this something like K in the go to instruction, and the range of values of K is the same, 0 to 1048575. This is again the same value, 2 raised to 20 minus 1. It is the same value, right? Additionally, there is one parameter or one bit, single bit parameter S, which belongs to either 0 or 1, which can be either 0 or 1. This S, we will see what S is. But right now, the focus is basically on the K. What is this K? So, as in case of the go to instruction, we are not actually going to write a number in while writing our program. We are going to write a label where we want to go, right? In a way, call and go to are 50% similar. Both are 32-bit instructions requiring 4 bytes, because you see here 20 bits will be required for this number itself, right? You can see this here in the encoding also. See, these 20 bits are taken up already. So obviously we are going to, this, and then there is 1 bit S also. So 21 bits are required for these operands only. So obviously we are going to need 4 bytes to this instruction. The address is similarly given as in case of goto. We are actually not going to write the address. We are going to write the label where we want to go. and that label will be converted automatically into address by the assembler. Okay. Now up to this point, call and go to are similar. The problem is when we use go to instruction, we can go from one location to another location anywhere in the program memory space, which was what was the advantage of the go to instruction, without any condition, right? But the problem is, what if in my program, if I want to go to some other location, and once I execute that section, I want to come back from where I left and continue execution from the next instruction. Are you getting what I'm saying? If I'm running this program here from top to bottom, okay, and I want to go to some other location, okay, and then I want to come back here again. In case of go to, how will we do this? We will have to use, we may use two go to instruction. We will have to label here also. Here we will write go to, okay, go to, here it may be L1, and here again we will write go to, then and here we will write L2. So from here it will go to L1, it will execute this section, then we'll go here L2, and it will come back and start executing here. So in this way you may do this, but the problem in this case is you have to keep track of where you are jumping and where you are coming back. What I mean by keep tracking is these labels, all these labels you will have to keep in your mind while writing your programs, right? Instead, there is an automatic way of doing this, and that is by using the subroutines. Okay. So what happens in the call instruction is we execute the call instruction and tell it to go to execute some, instead of go to, we write call, okay, we write call L1. So when we write call L1, the first thing that happens is, you have seen the stack, right? Stack pointer we have seen already. So okay, I will show you on the next slide also. This was something, this was the stack, right? So what happens first is, when a call instruction comes up, the stack pointer is first incremented. Okay, so if it was the stack, if stack pointer had contained this, if this was the value of stack pointer 00010, it will first increment, and then the top of stack will point to this location. Okay, and the return address stack, what is this? Return address means the address of the next instruction, address of the instruction next to call, that address will be pushed onto the stack. Push means writing onto the stack. Pop means reading from the stack. Okay, push means writing on the stack. So the return address, why I have written this PC plus 4 here? Why is the return address PC plus 4? Because how many words will the call instruction require? Call instruction, as we know, is a 4-byte instruction, right? Call is a 4-byte instruction. You can see it here also. Byte 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 bytes are required for call instruction. Means what will be the address of the next instruction? Return means in the same sequence, in this sequence, if it is a call instruction is here, if the address of this call is X, means at X location, if call is written, then the next instruction will be written at X plus 4, right? Right? Because X itself, the call itself is going to take 4 locations. That's why the next instruction is written at x plus 4. So this address of the next instruction to be executed in the original sequence will go to stack. Okay. Then if the additional parameter s, this s if it is written, this is called fast mode, okay, or shadow. If that is also given as 1, means if s is equal to 1, okay, if s is equal to 1, then the 3 registers you have, W, status and BSR, these 3 registers are copied to some 3 different registers, which are W is copied to WS. These are called shadow registers. Shadow. Okay. W is copied to WS. Status is copied to status S. And BSR is copied to BSR S. Okay. Now, why this is done? Because when we want to come back, and if in our original program, in our original sequence, if we are using certain instructions which may be using the statuses, or which may be using some RAM banks for which you need the BSRs, if you are writing some program for addition or something, in that case you may need W. If your program requires that these three should be retained, in that case, while calling the subroutine, we give s is equal to 1, and because of that, the copies of these W, status and BSR are made, and when we come back from the subroutine, these copies will be restored. Okay. But if your program is you have written in such a way that you don't need to keep track of these 3 register values, then you can just ignore that. S will be given automatically as 0 by default, and there will not be any copy made for these registers. Okay. As in case of goto, the value of k is again only 20 bits. We have already seen here also, it is only 20 bits. In this case also, the PC LSB of program counter is automatically made 0 in order to ensure that it is going to be landing on instruction only, because instructions are going to take at least 2 bytes or 4 bytes. So instructions are always going to be written on even addresses. So to ensure that the LSB of program counter is made 0, right? Okay. And this call is a 2-cycle instruction. It is also 2-word or 4-byte instruction. Okay. So this is just to remind you of the stack memory. Stack memory is 31 locations or 31 words, and each word can store 21 bits. What are these 21 bits? These are the addresses of the program memory locations. Okay. So this is what we have just talked, that during a call instruction or a call type instruction, the stack pointer will first get incremented. Remember, okay, stack pointer will first increment, then the address of the next instruction of of call will be written onto the stack, means at this somewhere like this. Okay. And then the program counter will be replaced by the k value, means the location where we have given the label, right? Means once the program counter gets altered, the execution automatically goes to that other location, right? Some like this, we were executing some here. Okay, we were like executing here, then suddenly call comes. So the location address of this location address the address of the next instruction of call goes to stack. Okay, the address goes to stack. This address goes to stack, and the address of L1 goes to PC. Instead of the next address which was already in PC, the address of L1 goes to PC, and that's why execution starts from here. The associated instruction will call is a return instruction. RETURN, return. Okay, so whenever we are calling a subroutine, it is expected that the last instruction at the subroutine should be a return instruction. It is expected that the last instruction in a subroutine should be a return instruction. If you have that return instruction, then only the automatic tracking of the addresses or of the program execution will take place. If we do not write the return instruction at the end of the subroutine, then after execution of the subroutine, we will not be able to come back to the original program. Okay, if we want to come back to original program, we must write the return instruction. Okay, now as in the case of goto was able to jump to any location in the program memory, anywhere in the program memory space, 2 MB program memory space, right? To shorten the amount of program memory required, there was a second instruction BRA, which was also unconditional branch and which was also jumping to anywhere within certain range without any condition. Means the execution was almost similar to goto, but the jumping locations were limited. In a similar way, call also has a second instruction named rcall. Okay, we will see on the next slide, but this is basically how in a symbolic way you can represent the calls subroutine call instruction. Okay, this here, okay, the first here is also a label given at call. This maybe you will give or you may not give. Okay, because if you want to come to this particular call instruction in at some other time in your program, at that time you will have to give the label to this instruction also, otherwise there is no need. But this particular label is must. Okay, because this is part of the syntax. Okay, this section from call there, this is a must section, this there is a label. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are calling a subroutine. The subroutine address is where we have given the label there. Okay, additionally there is this parameter fast or operand fast. This fast stands for the S, right? I have told you the S stands for the fast mode. Okay, if you write here fast, it means S is equal to 1. If you don't write anything, it automatically means S is equal to 0. Okay, so let's say before instruction, what was the before this instruction, what was the contents of PC? PC always contains what? Address of the next instruction to be executed. So what we are saying, before execution of the call, it will hold some address. Which address? It will hold the address of this particular location, right? It will hold the address of here. Now once the call instruction gets executed, what will happen? PC will contain the address of this label, right? That's what we are telling the PC to do. That's what we are telling the program to do. That instead of this instruction, which is written next to call, instead of this instruction, you should execute the instruction written at there, at this label. So the program counter will contain the address of this particular location. Okay. The top of stack, we have just seen, the top of stack will contain the address of this instruction. Now what is the address of this instruction? If address of call is here, then obviously it is address of this particular location is here plus 4. Why so? Because call is going to take 4 locations, 0, 1, 2, 3. So here it will be 4, here plus 4. So that address means the address of the original next instruction goes to top of stack. Okay. And since we have also written fast here, means we are going to execute the call instruction in fast mode. The 3 registers, the values of these 3 registers, W, BSR and status, the values of these 3 registers are going to be copied into their corresponding shadow registers, WS, BSRS and status S. This S at the end stands for shadow. Okay. They are just creating a shadow of the original registers. Okay. So this is how the call instruction works. Okay. What happens in the beginning? Whenever there is a call instruction, the stack pointer increments. The address of the next instruction in original sequence goes to top of stack like this. Okay. Then the contents of PC are automatically changed to have the address of the label where we have written the subroutine, which we are calling by the call instruction. If we have also given the fast mode, the working register, BSR register and status register are copied to their corresponding shadow registers. Okay. And the call instruction execution ends. So the next instruction now, which instruction will be executed? This instruction, right? The instruction written at this particular location, because now PC contains the address of there. PC as usual contains what it says. It contains the address of the next instruction to be executed. That's why PC, since now PC has the address of this particular label there, now the next instruction to be executed is which one? Whatever is written at label there. Okay. So this is how the call instruction is going to work.